welcome to the very first episode of the Wave the W show with Tyler and Bo. I'm Tyler,
I'm Bo.
and we're the guys who bring you wavethew.com, a new website for Cubs fans where we have game recaps, analysis, editorial, all kind of things. So check us out if you haven't already at wavethew.com. And every Friday, we're going to bring you kind of our take on this week in Cubs baseball. We're going to have different segments from weekend review to players of the week, games of the week, who we have coming up, top stories, all that kind of stuff. So, without further ado, let's begin. Let's talk about this week in Cubs baseball, bro.
All right. Well, it was a great week in Cubs baseball, just like a lot of weeks so far this season. We saw the week start with Jake's second career no-hitter. It was a 16-0 rout of the Reds, and we kind of had a lot of that series. We took 3 out of 4. The game on Saturday was pretty ugly. We lost that one 5-13 or so, but we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, we won't talk about that one.
Then Milwaukee came to town. We beat them in the first game. It was a tough game. Won 4-3. We kind of had a late scare and almost pissed that one away. But next game was postponed due to rain, so the one we won yesterday made it a sweep. Now we've got Atlanta coming into town this afternoon, and we've got 3 against them, so here we are.
Well, in yesterday's game, we saw another Jake win. He got his 5th of the year, but he did lose his winless streak at home at 52 in two-thirds innings, which is not bad. He gave up a run, which is very unlike him, but we still got the win. A great outing for Jake, and he also gave up his quality start record as well, which I think
Bob
is
Gibson holds, which is one of those guys that always feels good to knock off a list.
Yeah, but I think he had the Cubs record, so still not bad. But yeah, right. a really good week for the Cubs. Mm-hmm. And so let's talk some top stories. The one that really caught our ears this week was the spat between Jake Arrieta and Stephen A. Smith from ESPN.
Right.
And I guess it started off as Stephen A. Smith on First Take saying, well, Jake Arrieta, he went from an average player to now he's at the top of the major leagues in pitching. Something must be going on, and he sort of speculated that he might be taking some PEDs. And Jake fired off on Twitter back to Stephen A. Smith. They kind of went back and forth, and has since died down. But that kind of took me by surprise this week.
Yeah, and everyone knows Jake's a very physically fit guy. He's big into working out, got the great beard too. Which I don't know if the jury's still out on anabolic steroids and beards. I don't know if there's a cause and effect there. But either way, he's a physically fit guy who's been resurgent in his career. And, I can understand where people would get this inkling, but at the same time, it's just totally off base.
You can't make that accusation unless you've got some proof, because every time Jake Arrieta goes to the Hill now, there are going to be people who are questioning everything he does, which is not fair to Jake.
Just wait till we get to St. Louis and we have to deal with those fools.
Exactly. So that was obviously, I think, the top story other than Jake's no-hitter last Thursday. But the other one is the Cubs are the best team in baseball. Through 20 games, we've got 16 wins, which is tied for the most in Major League Baseball with the Southsiders. Mm-hmm. But they have 2 more losses than we do. So technically, we have the best record, definitely in the National League and also all of baseball. So we're off to our best start since when?
Since 1907.
What happened in bells? What happened in 1907?
Well, the same thing happened in 1908 too, and
won't jinx that.
Since,
so also Anthony Rizzo has become what we hoped he would be this year. He had a really, really slow start, but he's gotten to the point now where he's basically hitting a home run or getting out. But he's second in the league in home runs and RBIs, but he's really playing well as of late, especially this series against Milwaukee.
Yeah,
He's been real high.
Absolutely. His average is climbing slowly, but it's good to see him, have the power numbers because he's a power guy. I think since coming into the league, he's the only person that has more home runs than him might be Paul Goldschmidt. Mm-hmm. So it's he's been impressive, and those power stats are good to see.
Yeah, and a pitcher that's really surprised us this week is one of your favorites.
Yeah, my man Jason Hamill continues to kill it. Guy's got a .75 ERA, which is the lowest on the team. Jake's at .87, I think.
Yeah.
It might be a little higher because he gave up a run yesterday. But Jason Hamill's been unbelievable.
From the dish too.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy can hit.
He in a start last week. I don't think the Cubs scored any runs on their own. Jason Hamill had a 2 RBI single, so he really carried him the whole way, and that's what won the game. So Jason Hamill's been awesome.
The whole rotation, maybe excluding Kyle Hendricks, maybe not his fault, but the top 4 have been pitching really, really well.
Yes, they have.
Really happy with the rotation so far, which brings us to what happens when our starters leave the game. Our bullpen comes in, and traditionally, especially last year, our bullpen was the weakest part of our team, but this year they're really strong. Specifically, one of our new guys, Adam Warren, who came over from the Yankees in the Starlin Castro trade. You were talking about Jason Hamill's 0.75 ERA. Well, Adam Warren has a 0.00 ERA now. That's in the bullpen. And he's got 2 wins. So, we had more infielders than we knew what to do with. So we, losing Castro didn't hurt us as much as some people have thought, but we picked up a really, really solid middle reliever who could eventually become a starter, and he was a starter for some time in New York. So really, really pleased with him, but also Trevor Cahill and Travis Wood and Pedro. And, everybody in the bullpen is just playing really great. Yeah. So we talked about Jake winning his 5th game of the year. Just a magnificent start for Jake, and we're really, really excited to see what happens throughout the year. So let's start the next segment, which is where we vote on Player of the Week. And Bo, I think you talked about yours before.
Yeah, I think we kind of both alluded to our pitchers of the week at least earlier. Definitely going with Jason Hamill. I'm almost giving him pitcher of the year so far, and that's saying that with a guy who's thrown a no-hitter.
Yeah,
and 5-0. But pound for pound, we didn't expect this out of Jason Hamill. Nobody did. We'd expect him to have an ERA around 4 probably.
He might take that 3rd spot from John Lackey.
He could.
John Lackey continue. John's been great, but he did lose a bad one last Saturday. But if Jason continues to pitch the way he is, he's going to be that 3rd.
If he continues to pitch the way he does, he's an all-star. That's the thing about it. He's pitching that well.
Yeah. Well, what about your hitter?
That's a tough one. I think, we obviously did a lot of offensive production this week, just as we normally do. But I'm going to go with Javier Baez. I like this guy a lot, and I'm really happy that he's back up on the squad after being on the DL to start the year. Since coming back, he's batting like .353, and he had this great slide late in the game against Milwaukee that, it was to go up. They were up 3-1, so you can't say it was really do or die, but they ended up winning the game 4-3 because, bullpen gave up a couple runs. So that ended up being the difference, getting safe at second and then getting around to score. So Baez is my guy for the week.
And he's not even a starter. What a great addition to our team. And if Chris Bryant's going to go down for a few days, and we just learned that he may not go on the DL, but he's not going to play today. You put La Stella at 3rd. You could put Baez at 3rd. La
Stella's been hitting great.
Everybody's been playing so well. So we were just extremely deep in the infield. So having Bryant go down with players like La Stella and Baez on the bench, not a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so my pitcher of the week, got to give it to my boy Adam Warren. 2 wins out of the bullpen, 0.00 ERA. Yep. He's got 7 appearances on the year, 9 strikeouts, only 3 walks, and only given up 2 hits as well.
I'd be interested to see what those stats convert over to if he were just a start.
Yeah,
how many innings that is.
We may see.
Because if it were, a couple starts, if he rolled up those 7 appearances, he's been pretty strong.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching him all throughout the year. And my hitter is going to be the old man, David Ross. Not because he's been leading the league or leading the team in anything necessarily, but he started the year off as a 38-year-old 3rd-string catcher in his last year, backing up Kyle Schwarber and Miguel Montero, mostly Miguel Montero, but also Kyle Schwarber. Yeah. And he's playing like an everyday catcher. I think he could start for most teams in the major leagues, and he has come off the bench after the Montero injury to his lower back. He's going to go on the 15-day DL. And we brought up Fedorovich instead of Wilson Contreras. But now David Ross is the number 1 catcher, and he's got a backup now in Fedorovich. But he is playing lights out. He had a home run last night.
Killed it. Hit it out of Wrigley.
Yeah, he's 7 for 26 with 5 RBIs and 2 home runs on the year. Just playing really well. And so that's my guy. And of course, Anthony Rizzo's been playing great this week, but we'll give it to him next week if he keeps it up. So, so let's talk game of the week. And I know we have different ones on different games we think were the game of the week.
Yeah, for me, I think it was the first game against the Brewers, the 4-3 victory. It was kind of a tough game, cold, wet, not a nice night. and we, really ground out a win there. And we haven't had to do that this year. We haven't had to grind this year. It's been kind of coming easy for us. Our starters go deep into the game. The guys put up a ton of runs, and the bullpen comes in and cleans it up. It's been an easy formula.
That was a fun game.
But this one, we actually had to show some heart, and I really liked seeing that. So that's mine.
That was a great game with a late hit by Addison Russell.
Yeah.
Who's been playing really well.
Yeah.
So mine is going to be last Friday, the 22nd, against the Reds, where we won 8-1. Mm-hmm. I've been talking about for the last year how whenever Lester's on the mound, we leave our bats at home for some reason, and he cannot get any offensive production or any kind of help. He got it finally on Friday against the Reds, and there were a couple really cool plays in that game where we had back-to-back suicide squeeze plays.
Right.
First, David Ross and John Lester got beautiful bunts down to score runs. Rizzo went yard. Baez had RBI. I mean, everybody chimed in, and it was an all-around complete game, small ball, long ball, pitching, everything. It was just beautiful. So that was my favorite game of the week.
Can't go wrong with that.
So the next segment we're going to do is something called "Get It Off Your Chest," and that's kind of what's grinding my gears this week. It could be positive, it could be negative. It's just something that's on our mind that we want to get off our chest. So what's yours?
Well, I got two things really. I'm going to stick with Jake Arrieta and the PED issue because I think it's just so ludicrous that we can just go out and accuse guys of stuff that we have no
proof.
For.
Yeah.
But I mean that's 2016 and that's Twitter and that's just where we are. So and you got guys like Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless who just they want to get on TV and they want to make boisterous points that are going to generate.
Well, we're
response.
Talking about them, which is kind of the point, right?
Oh God, why are we giving them the satisfaction?
Exactly.
But I guess the other thing I would say is, hitting has been contagious for this team. Everybody's gotten bit by the bug except for Jorge Soler. Jorge, if you can hear me.
You've got it out for our boy Jorge.
Oh, man. He's just been struggling, and I really, really want to see him do well. But
good thing we have other outfielders.
Yeah, you think?
So.
But that's what's on my chest. So what about yours?
I talked about this earlier. David Ross and his productivity, just without expecting it, has just been something I've been really, really thrilled about. When Schwarber went down, my first thought was, okay, what happens if what do we do if Montero gets injured? And it happened. And David Ross, a lot of people see him as just a defensive catcher, but he's really turned it on both offensively and defensively. He's had some incredible plays behind the plate. Mm-hmm. Picked a guy off last week at first. I mean, he's just really stepped up, and so that's he's my all-star this week.
His swing looks so good too, so beautiful. Smooth this year.
Beautiful. Had a huge home run last night, and I'm really pleased with his productivity, and obviously my boy Adam Warren. I just can't say enough about him. So all right. So to wrap it up. Let's talk about what we've got coming in. We've got the Braves coming in.
We got the Braves coming in, which you can't say much about the Braves. They're pretty much worst team in baseball.
Worst team in baseball right now.
But after that, and obviously we got the back end of the rotation going, which we want them going against Atlanta because we've got two tough series coming up. After this, we got Pittsburgh, and then we've got 4 at Wrigley against the Nationals, who are playing dynamite. So, we gotta keep our focus here over the next couple weeks, big time.
Some big games coming up. Well, cool. Well, Bo, this was fun. We're going to do this every Friday. Talk about this week in Cubs baseball. We're going to switch it up every Friday, and we'll have new segments and different topics. But so make sure you come check us out every Friday. If you haven't gone to our website yet, it's wavethew.com. Yeah. I promise if you're a Cubs fan, you'll love it. Bo's our lead writer, so most of what you read is going to be his. So if you like it, you can give him the credit, and if you don't, you can blame him.
Absolutely.
And I chime in when I can as well. So wavethew.com. Spread the word. Tell your friends. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/wavethew. And our Facebook page, which we update all the time, is facebook.com/wavethew. So please check us out. But until next Friday, go Cubs.